Alright, what's up, you guys? It's been a while since I made a video, and I've been living on my own for about a month-ish now, which I've said in my last video is not really surprising to any of my day one viewers. But, yeah, something I would like to mention. I've had an experience with a woman recently. And I would say that it's been a kind of a hodgepodge of a lot of stuff happening. And so it's really the first time that I've done something with one of my options that I've met online because I've had previous options in the past where I could have done something about it, but I didn't do it because I live with my parents. But now I live on my own. Now it's like the first time that I decide to do something about one of the women that I was talking to and had a chance to meet in real life off of, and, do something off of, that wasn't a date related, right? Off of, dating apps. So, yeah, it was quite an eventful time. It was last weekend. She came to my house, and basically, what happened from that story, we've been talking for like a week, trying to get to know each other, bond, and connect over some things, and eventually, we got to actually meeting each other. And the ordeal of me inviting her um, to meet was very all over the place, to say the least. So basically, the plan was that I kind of didn't know what the plan was because I wasn't sure if she was actually going to come. But I invited her kind of near my house, near a park, and I would, like go in her car and talk to her, and we would figure out what we're going to do. And I wasn't sure if she was going to come, but then she actually did come to that location kind of without like making sure that she was going to come with me first. And she was kind of like understandably weirded out because it was kind of like a last minute decision. I wasn't sure if she was going to be there. But when then she did turn out to be there, you know, eventually I got to convincing her to just, it's all good. It's fine. We were good over the phone, and basically it was kind of a last minute decision. But I had her in my house, right? I brought her inside my house, and she stayed the night, 2 nights actually, inside my house. I never had a girl stay inside my house, so that's interesting. Or any girl come to any house that I've been in. Really, was my parents' house. But now that I live on my own, I never had a girl come over ever in my life. So I mean, that was something. Um, what else is there to say? Well, basically, um, we just were vibing, talking, and kind of just talking with each other, uh, staying up all night, just like talking, and then going to sleep, whatever. And then the next day, basically, she wanted to take me around places around the city where I live. Um, because basically she's like a type of person that's like, gets people together, gets people to do stuff, and she kind of like, you know, wanted me to go to a water park with her, right? So we did that, and basically, I'll just say how like the weekend went first. Like, we went to a water park together and basically did whatever it is at the water park, right? But I mean, and then we went to casino, and then she came over again and spent the night, and then I kind of wanted her to, leave on the last day, and because she was taking time off work to stay with me, and I kind of was just like, I mean, I didn't directly tell her, but I kind of just wanted my space. That's what I said. I just prefer my solitude or whatever, just to be by. I want to be by myself, and then I had her leave, and then the next day she agreed to come pick up her stuff, more of her stuff, her clothes. That anyway. So that's how the whole weekend went. But then, um, you're probably wondering about the sexual part, right? So I described how the whole weekend was. How did all the other things? What was the whole process and what it was like? What was happening when we were with each other? Well, I could say on my part, I was a little judgmental towards her, kind of saying like, "Oh, just like be honest, like, you don't really look like your pictures." I'll take some accountability. Like I kind of did say some insensitive stuff. Not enough that it made her leave though, but I said some insensitive stuff. And sometimes when I'm in social situations, even when I was with her, I noticed that I tend not to like think completely straight because if I'm not really comfortable in those social situations, sometimes I like don't think completely straight as well as I would like to. So I did like act a little ditzy in some social situations, and but it was enough for her to still put up with me, right? So that's some faults that I was acting on my part. But now with her, and I just ended it off with her, and it did not end too well. She was basically coming in my house, telling me what to do, closing the blinds, in my own house, and like all the blinds because I don't want to get robbed. Like I got robbed when I was like a kid. I don't play about that shit or whatever. Basically, kind of feeling like she was telling me what to do, authorizing me in my own home, and I didn't want to fight back with her, and I just like sat there and just took it. Like I didn't feel like I was being in charge of my own home, of my own life. And we were driving, she'd be like, "Oh, don't be on your phone because I don't play about my life." Or if I park maybe a little bit, if I was when we parked at the casino, I parked like I didn't even think I parked that off center, but she was like, "Oh, you're parking too close to the car." I'm like, look, see right outside of the car when you open the door, it's not that far. And she's like, "Oh no, it's too close," and she wasn't even like the issues were that she just did not want to like sit there and be criticized, right? She was just being very authoritative, and I really felt like she didn't respect me as a man, as a leader, as the person that's really her host, the one that she should follow. She didn't respect that and just acted too comfortable and acted like she kind of like the place was hers. My life was hers. My life wasn't mine anymore. My house wasn't what I wanted to be anymore. And look, you could come and like it's okay to like judge how people are in their spaces. Everyone does that. But to come and like authorize yourself over to come authorize somebody's life and somebody's way of doing things to have how you want it without considering it would affect how it would affect them and affect their what am I trying to say? Like when you come in someone's life and you decide how you want things to be instead of just like, judging someone in your head and keeping it to yourself. If you come in and try to authorize the way you want things to be done onto someone, that just shows that that person doesn't respect respect the man as a leader, as a person who's supposed to lead and have this own way of life. You know, you don't really respect the person that you're a guest in. And she was a guest. Who was she to tell me what to do? I just sat there and took it. I didn't fight back. Because as soon as I decide to get a little bit mad, she's like, oh, you don't yell at a woman. Oh, you don't. Oh, you don't yell at a woman. See, you yelled at me. What makes me so mad about it is that I always tell myself that I don't let people tell me what to do. But she came in my house and told me what to do and authorized my life. And I didn't fight back. I just sat there and just was like, okay, pat it on the shoulder, just go about whatever our business. And I remember if I say like one little thing, like one time we were at the casino that we went to on the same day that I went to the water park with her. Um, I I just said like one little thing that like sounds kind of insensitive. As I mentioned, I did say some things that were insensitive that I didn't really think exactly how it would affect that other person. I don't always realize that when I say certain things, and I don't always intend to, but she just kind of was like, "Oh, you only think about yourself," and then she just like snapped at me, and then eventually started crying. It was, yeah, it was a lot to deal with, man. Um, yeah, because she admittedly told me herself that she was diagnosed as bipolar, and I try not to. If I hear someone has a mental illness, I'm not gonna like blanket their whole illness as being a part of their personality. I try to look past things about people like that and just look at them as a person, as a human being, not a tag bipolar. I try to look at them as a person, and now that I'm thinking about it and all the ways that she acted towards me, I mean, that was due to insecurity. Maybe things with her exes and she wishes she could have been more authoritative towards that she wasn't because she was scared of them, but she wasn't scared of me. Um, or maybe it was just part of her condition or how she was, and maybe that's her being bipolar. All those actions and things she'd done kind of explained a lot about her. And yeah, so then on the by the way, before we went to the water park, I did get like intimate with her, but not like full on sex. So I'm technically still a virgin, I mean, at this point in my life, I don't sit here and trip whether or not I'm still a virgin, because it's like, who am I trying to impress? What social group dynamic am I trying to get a one up off of? To me, virginity or losing virginity is not like something that I really care about, because in high school you care about that because you want to get dap from your boys and you want to feel like you're the man. But when you get older, do you who cares about that stuff? It's like, if it's meant to happen, then it's gonna happen. And I just didn't have condoms that time. So before the water park, right? I was like, she had me rubbing up on her titties, fingering her, and looking on her titties and shit. So we messed around a bit, and the night of afterwards, she sucked my dick. So I mean, yeah, it was all right. I mean, it's not like something that I'm like, it was life changing. I guess it felt good in terms of pleasure, but it's not like something I guess I don't regret it, but it's not something that I feel like um it's not that great. You know what I mean? So, um I didn't full on have sex with her, so I mean, I don't really see the whole purpose in just, oh, you gotta get laid, because I did a little bit of it, and it was fine, but it's just like, That's why I just don't really value getting like laid that much. And if it's gonna happen, then it will happen. If it don't, I'm not tripping over it really. But we did mess around a bit, and to close it off, yeah, when she came by to pick her clothes up, and I washed them for her, and I mean, look, she was like being very authoritative towards me, but I was always trying to be calm and trying to be accommodating and trying to be show that I cared about another person and help them feel comfortable. And I tried to just be a good host and someone that like I tried to just be nice, a good guy. You know what I mean? A good guy to her. But what made the whole situation just like end not too well was on the last day. I didn't know she was gonna come, right? I thought she said like, oh, maybe I'll come, maybe I won't. I'm just like, I'm tired from driving, so I'm like, okay, let me know by 8 o'clock if you're gonna come. I didn't really get a clear answer that she was gonna come. I thought she just was too tired, that she would come another day, and then all of a sudden she just says, I'm here. I'm like, what do you mean I'm here? At your house. I'm like, what? You're at my house? And I got like really creeped out. Like, you just pull up to my house at random without telling me? Like, I'm like, you just pulled to my house without telling me. Like, that's kind of like betraying my trust. You didn't tell me anything. There was just, that's miscommunication. And she's like, oh yeah, maybe there was some miscommunication. I'm like, and she wasn't even acting like it was a big deal. You know what I mean? And then when I had to stop my workout, then I had to go to my house and give her stuff to her, and I was mad. Like, you just pull up to my house at random on my property. I felt like it was trespassing. I just said, "Get the fuck out of my house! Get the fuck out of my house! You're trespassing!" And then that was the end of that. I blocked her. Maybe I now that I think about it, I talked it over with my parents. I think I overreacted a little bit because I'm very territorial and I don't want people to invade my space. I felt like she betrayed my space, and now I look back at it, I think I overreacted a little bit, but I did not handle that well, and it was my fault that I was being too. I got a little bit too antsy at the end, but just overall, I would say the situation, it was just very I mean, we did click on a certain amount of things, but I just felt like dealing with being told what to do, being like having the blinds closed, that you gotta do this, you gotta do that. Not even like just like telling me, can you please like close the blinds? I just don't feel comfortable. Can you please do this as a host that accommodates the guest? A guest asking the host to accommodate them to make them feel comfortable. No, she didn't like bother asking. She just was like being authoritative towards me, like do this, do that, do this, do that. Oh, don't do this. Like in my own life, in my own home. And it was just chaotic, and I don't think she respected me as a man. And she should have not got so comfortable. I think it was just I don't know if I regret it. I mean, it was an experience. I could have went about it better about how I would, um, meet her, have met her first, but it didn't necessarily end up that way. And I installed alarm security around my house, yeah, just in case. And so far, I guess she's gone, and that was it. I mean, I probably did overreact, but like the whole time that I was with her, I mean, I wouldn't say it was all bad, but it mostly was just, I felt kind of like demasculated. I just felt weak as a man. And I felt like I was betraying myself. And the fact that I let this girl, who was a guest in my life, just tell me what to do and run my life. I don't know if that's part of her bipolar disorder or if that's just part of her experiences she had with her ex that she wishes she could have done something to, and she's put it onto me because she thinks I'm weak. I don't know, but you know, it is what it is. I mean, I don't care if people are gonna be like, well, you didn't fully lose your virginity with her. What's wrong with you? I don't. Who cares, man? I'm not someone who sits here and values losing my virginity because I got more important things to focus on. Like, if it's gonna happen, then it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? And fortunately, it didn't. I mean, if it happens with someone else, then it happens. I kind of want my first time to be. I'm not like trying to force it, but I guess I do want it to be special. You know what I mean? And I ain't trying to, but I'm not like sitting here like chastising myself or yeah, I'm not sitting here chastising myself or something. It's just if it happens, it'll happen, and if it don't, I'm not really tripping off of it, you know. So yeah. Anyway, that's how the whole experience went down between me and a woman, and the woman is kind of similar to this dynamic here in this picture. The woman was taller than me. She's about 5'10". You know what I mean? I'm 5'8". So I couldn't really find a picture I found flattering and high quality that I want to put as a thumbnail. So I found a picture of David Bowie and his some I think Somalian wife he had when he was still alive. And he has this similar hairstyle to what I usually rock. So I thought it'd be a good choice for a cover picture. So and when I'm talking about this story, this is the same way that I would talk about it with just about anybody. I'm not going to sit here and try to do clickbaity shit for views. I just tell it like it is. I tell my faults and I tell about her faults and what went wrong with the relationship. And I try not to victimize myself in this situation, but I felt like I mostly was a victim in this situation. I did some things that people might like, you know, not want to put up with. Some insensitive things I've said. I'm not gonna lie about that. Sometimes intentional, sometimes not intentional. And and I don't know, I don't deal with people all that much. I definitely don't deal with women all that much. So sometimes I'm not aware of certain things I say and how it can hurt people. But for the most part, I think, you know, I was very nice to her despite her always being authoritative towards me. But what I didn't like about that relationship, I didn't even feel in charge anymore. And I didn't feel like that when we were talking on the phone. But since we've met, I figured that out about her. And, you know, that's done. And I'm okay with being by myself, you know. It happened. And I'm just moving right along. So I hope you enjoy my story. And I ain't trying to do no clickbait shit for views. And I put this picture up because it kind of signifies our relationship, our high dynamic or whatever. And yeah, I kind of am trying to get views a little bit because I know people are gonna click on a white man and a black woman cover photo, but when I'm describing it in a video, it's actually just like I'm describing any other woman. So yeah, hope you enjoy the story. That's all.